Welcome back to the iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series as we wrap up action here from the Suzuka circuit for round 10 of the 2017 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. 2 rounds after this, the Nürburgring and Circuit of the Americas after. But we're sitting here with race winner Martin Kroenke, who finally extends his win streak to number 10. He's gone into double digits. Well done, Martin. Brilliant stuff. An easy race for you, possibly. It looked like Mitchell was keeping you honest there throughout the event, despite you being on pole.
Yeah, Mitchell was really quick. Only 4.2 seconds or so gap at the end. So, yeah, definitely kept me honest. And other than that, well, pretty good race, I think.
Yeah, and talk about qualifying for a second. That second lap, you didn't seem to... Did you make a mistake going into the final chicane, or was it not as good as your first one? Because it's not often that people's or anybody's banker lap is as good as good enough for pole position. Unless your name's Martin Kroenke, of course.
Actually, you're right. With the second lap, I just overshot the braking point for the last chicane, and then yeah, didn't hit the curb in the angle that I wanted to hit it. Car bounced a little bit and lost, I think, 2/10 or so in that corner alone. The lap itself was nearly the same pace as the first lap. I was a little bit quicker in the SS, a little bit slower in Degner 1, and yeah, net result before the last chicane was ±0. So with a good chicane, maybe very small improvement. With that chicane, no improvement.
We know your teammate Mack is rocketing off the line at the start, and he's getting these immensely quick starts. We saw it at Indianapolis when he went past yourself and Mitchell, and again it happened today where Mack was so quick off the line. Is there something you can learn from your teammate based on that, or is that a setup difference that you can't really implement for yourself?
I guess it's just a small difference in the method that we use for starting. I'm using a slightly different method, and for me it's a little bit difficult to tweak it to the limit so that I can actually get really close to the limit of the tire. Yeah, maybe switching method would work, but it's a commitment that I don't want to do at the moment. And the starts, if I don't mess up, are reasonably good, so that yeah, I don't feel a dire need to change. The Indy start is probably not very representative because that was, quite frankly, terrible.
Yeah, and final thing, actually, before I let you speak and thank your team and your sponsors, but is there anything you can learn at this point onwards? Because right now, you feel like you've almost mastered everything. Maybe if there's a small improvement in the starts, but I mean, you're winning, you're on pole most of the time. Is there anything you can learn from the end of the season, or are you still now just preparing for, grabbing a pair of sunglasses and suntanning on the beach?
Yeah, I mean, there's always things you can learn. I mean, I always look at the data regardless, even if I'm quicker than my teammates. There might be the odd corner or a phase of the corner where there's an improvement possible, and I think as soon as you start thinking, well, I'm the best anyway, no need to learn anything, that's a point where you actually make a huge step backwards and people will catch up or yeah, beat you in the next round. So there's always room to improve and there's always stuff to learn, so you have to keep learning.
Finally, any words in your native language, and feel free to thank your team and your sponsors.
I think there's no need for words in native language, but yeah, I want to say a huge thank you to the team, to everyone who has helped prepare the car, to the guys at the pit wall doing the strategy work, to our sponsors, first of all to Virtual Racing School, and also to Hoisingveld Engineering, N1 Design, SimQuip, and Joel Ritami.
Thank you. Good job there. Martin Kroenke, race winner again at Suzuka, and he's still clean sweeping this season in 2017. 10 wins in a row in 2017, 11 if you count the final round from last season. Great job by Martin Kroenke for Coanda Simsport, who heads that 1, 2, 3 for the team. The next driver on our list to speak to is Mitchell Dion, who finished 4.1 seconds behind his dominant teammate this season. Mitchell, another great result for you. It seems that every round you finish this season, it's been in P2. We know Mack wants to be called Mr. 5. You might need to be called Mr. 2.
Yeah, certainly another good result. Yeah, quite a few second place finishes, as you said. So, yeah, no, I can't complain too much. Just, being part-time so much this season. But, no, it's been a great season so far.
Talk about your race for a little bit, because are you watching relative time gaps to Martin in front, trying to say, "Oh, I got a 10th on him there," and that's your sort of small motivation and goals over the 53 laps? Because it seems like it was a relatively uneventful affair for you out there.
Yeah, certainly. You have to, take your wins when you can against Martin because he's so fast. But, I think my issue is I really struggle in the beginning of the stint with getting the pace out of the tires. Basically, that hot lap pace. Super difficult for me. Once the car starts to move around a bit more and the rears start to give way, it feels a bit better for me. I feel like I can, close the gap a little bit more. But yeah, I think most of my time this race was lost in, the opening parts of, both stints, and obviously I lost a little bit in the pit stop, pitting a lap later. But in the end, though, to still not be too far from Martin, I can't complain too much. It was still a much more solid race, I think, than Spa for me, so I'm quite happy with that.
You spoke about that in terms of the tires. It was 42 degrees Celsius out there in terms of track temperatures, and don't worry, I'm not going to convert that to Fahrenheit because I I don't know, but it was very, very hot. And the moral of the story is you waited until lap 28 to make your pit stop. You were the last person in the field, I believe, or one of the last to make the pit stop. It's beyond 50% of the distance. Why was that? Were you waiting for traffic to clear behind, or were you waiting for that 25-second gap to be clear?
Yeah, I think we were in a pretty good position to wait a while to pit to have fresh tires for the last stint compared to the others. Also, I stayed out a little bit longer so I could get a lead lap point over from Martin. So just work towards keeping my license in the end and hopefully getting a good result out of it. So a little bit of sacrifice was made there for the points overall, but it's a part of it.
Well done. Good job out there. Mitchell Dion, who comes home in P2 once again in 2017, and he's the second driver in that Coanda 1-2-3 bunch. The next one who we'll be speaking to in a second is a very ill Mack Beckham, who came home 22 seconds behind his teammate Martin Kroenke in the lead, but he does claim a podium position. And Mack, you're ill. It was a tough race for you out there. You probably want to get out of this interview as soon as you can and get some rest. Was it very tough for you physically and mentally?
Yeah, I'm really, really exhausted right now. I got really sick at the start of this week, and it just kept getting worse and worse. And yeah, fortunate enough, I did some of my practice in the week before this, and I hardly did any laps this week, so that kind of hurt me a bit. And yeah, I did a 10-lap stint this morning and was completely exhausted after that, so I didn't really have high hopes for the race. But yeah, in the end, I must say I'm very pleased with the result.
Well, do you rely much on muscle memory as a driver? Because we know a lot of drivers who do 1,000 laps or something per race. There are those types of drivers that come to the race event and they're on it from lap one. But you seem like the type of natural talent that even if you do take a week off and even if you're sick, you're still right on it. And you were today. I mean, you finished in P3. So could you have been better than this? Could you have been possibly first or second?
Yeah, I would say I would be able to do better than this. I wouldn't say I would be P1 or 2. I mean, I'm 22 seconds back. I'm sure that gap could have been closer. I think that gap would have also been closer if I just didn't mess up my quali in the end, because it wasn't a really good lap, but I messed it up in the end, sadly. Or if my start was just maybe a bit better. But yeah, overall, I'm just super happy with what I got today, with the like how well I felt. And hopefully next time I can be better and feel a bit better as well.
And we have to bring up the incident with Gregor Hutu there towards the end of the event. You were going into turn one. It seemed that some people might have said that Hutu had just a slight bit of room to move onto the curb, but others were blaming you as well for the incident, saying you didn't really give him much on the exit. Talk about it from your perspective. What did you think, or how do you think the incident went?
Yeah, well, first of all, the battle with Gregor was really cool. He pulled away from DRS after a few laps, and I managed to claw him back in, which was very surprising because I thought he was a bit quicker. And then, I got a good run on him out of the last corner, and I kind of went on the outside into turn one, and I was kind of hoping, because I can't really overtake there anyway, but I was kind of hoping he was going to overshoot his braking a bit, which he did. So I knew I could undercut in turn two, and then I just went for the undercut there, and I left, I think, 1.5 or maybe a bit more car on the outside, and then he took it a little tighter than normally. I guess we both could have, gone to our own side a bit more. But yeah, I think it's just a racing incident. Had a bit of netcode in between even, but yeah, luckily nothing too serious like last time.
Final Coanda driver on the podium, 1, 2, 3 between you all. But the next driver, non-Coanda, finally, Freek Schothorst, P4, you've done it. 4th position. Is it a happy result for the team, or is it something where you feel like you could have achieved more? Because Redline are really renowned for race wins.
Yeah, exactly. So if we're not winning and not even on the podium, it's not good enough. I think the car was not good to drive. Everybody was complaining in the team, so we were really lacking some pace. So considering that, to be 4th and best of the team is pretty good for me personally. But obviously we want podium, so I can't be too happy with it.
And talk about the pit stop phase, by the way. I don't want to go past it, but you ended up losing out to even your teammate, Gregor. Was there a mistake for you? Was there traffic involved in that? Is there anything you can learn from that pit stop phase?
Well, no, it wasn't the pit stop phase actually, because I went in 1 lap later than Gregor, and I was still ahead at that point after I exited the pit. But I think 2 laps later, I spun in 130R. I just ran 1 millimeter wide, and the car snapped away. Very lucky to not hit anything.
Yeah.
But I lost like 4 seconds with that, so that's how I got behind Gregor and Mack.
Yeah, I thought I caught something there. I'm like, did Freek go behind with the pit stops, or was it a spin? It's something we didn't even catch on the TV broadcast. So miraculous to hear about that. But finally as well, we know World's Fastest Gamer is coming up. Is that something where you and the team are going to be putting more focus on that? Or are you still going to be putting full focus on trying to get yourself back to the top step of the podium, at least, not just for 2018, but to knock Martin off the top step for these final 2 races at the Nürburgring and Circuit of the Americas?
Yeah, that's definitely the aim. But right now, when we see our pace is and how far we are off, it's hard to imagine we're going to beat him in the next 2 races. I think we really need some changes in the rules for 2018 to have a chance. And about the World Fastest Gamer, that's actually a tough one. I'm still not sure about it, how I will do it. I will definitely try it. But yeah, I will try it. But it depends if Martin is doing it, because I will do the first race, and if he's doing it, then obviously there's no chance, I think. But if he won't try, then I think I should have a good shot. And I will probably do it 50-50 with the World Championship.
Yeah, and actually, one last question, bonus one. We're not going to pay you for this, but if you're doing this well for Redline, is there anything you can step up for the team in terms of leadership, and what can you contribute to help the team fight their way back up to the top step of the podium?
I think what I'm doing right now is the best I can do, and I think everybody is working hard on it. We're just trying stuff with the setup, but mostly Bono and Gregor. And to be honest, I'm not really a team leader, and I don't think we have really a leader in the team. Just all working hard to improve. And I just think it takes time. We sometimes we get a bit closer, and today was not a good day again. The gap became a bit bigger. But yeah, we just need to work hard, and the focus is already a bit more in 2018, of course. We really need to step up our game for that.
That was Freek Schothorst, who came home in the 4th position for Team Redline, and what a race it's been this time out. The next round of the championship will take place on the 23rd of September. That's in 2 weeks' time, for 60 laps around the Nürburgring, which hosts the penultimate round, round 11 of the 2017 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series. That will be on RaceSpotTV, streamed live on iRacing Live as usual. Thanks to all our viewers today. Thanks to Will Vincent alongside me, Hugo Luis, in terms of production behind the scenes. Thanks to our sponsors to iRacing and Wern Design, Istvan Belov for his track camera work. This has been a RaceSpotTV presentation broadcasted on iRacing Live. We say so long from the exquisite Suzuka circuit.